So to continue our conversation,
Okay.
I was under the impression that Solstice class and Edge class are very similar in size.
They are. So Solstice class is about 120,000 gross tons. And of course, the silhouette is a little, I'm sorry, the reflection's a little bigger. They added an extra deck. So the reflection's a little bigger. And I just looked it up. Edge is 130,000 gross tons. Beyond's 140,000 gross tons. But Beyond, they stretched it out a little bit.
Okay.
So,
Do you feel that
so
that's noticeable between Apex and Edge versus Beyond?
Yeah, and the Grand Plaza, like what the Martini Bar is, you can kind of tell on the Beyond, like it's stretched out, but the Martini Bar's in the middle, so you can kind of tell it does feel bigger there. Other than that, the Retreat is bigger on the Beyond.
Yeah.
And hot take, I'm not the only one that doesn't mind the smaller Retreat Sun Deck on Edge and
Okay,
Apex.
talk to me about that because I'm going in 2.5 weeks.
Well, so to be honest, so the Retreat Sun Deck is like 2 decks, and it's just really, really, really big. They added 19 Sky Suites to it. Okay. So, at a minimum, that's 19 extra passengers. I think some of those rooms could be triples and quads. So you could be looking at 50 plus extra more people. There's just more people. So it's harder to like run into people as much. Where on Edge and Apex, it's a little bit more intimate. But
Okay.
look, I mean, I love the Beyond as well, but I think the Beyond is cool because Luminae is attached. So you can kind of do the Sun Deck, the Lounge, and Luminae are all together. On Edge and Apex, you'll see very soon, Luminae is just kind of in a rando spot. Like, it's like, I think it's deck 12. It's just like in the most random spot, not attacked. You're just walking down the stairs, like, oh, Luminae. Like, it's random.
Hmm. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
It's great. It's great. I mean, your first suite. Oh, I mean, I remember my first one. It was on Celebrity Summit.
Not my
Summit, Summit,
first,
Summit.
technically speaking. My first suite was on Reflection. But
Right. So you've had the Butler. That's right. You've had Luminate. That's right. I remember those
but,
photos. That's right.
I've not had the Retreat suite experience.
Right, because the Reflection didn't have the full Retreat Sun Deck, right?
Nope, they just had that Michael's Club.
Gotcha. Kind of like what I had on Solstice,
Yes.
which is fine. We didn't miss the Sun Deck because it was Alaska. It was Alaska, but I mean, I did kind of wish we had it when we were sailing into the glacier. But I was like, man, this kind of would be nice to have like a little dedicated, a little
Yeah.
dedicated. But pro tip, as you know, guys are in Alaska, everyone runs to the front of the ship.
Now this girl.
I think the best views. I found out accidentally. Haley told me about it. I think later. The back of the ship, guys. So I went to the Ocean View Cafe for lunch. It's like, hey, let's sit outside. So my friend Michael and I went to go sit outside and on the after the ship, and I was just like, oh my god, look at this view! Like we were all just sitting down. We didn't even eat our lunch. We were just like mesmerized.
Yeah, because you text me like, "Oh my god, you need to be on the back of the ship." I'm like, I'm a deck above you
That's
with a
right.
blanket.
You were like,
Like,
that's right.
I'm talking with my dad.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. No, it was. Ugh. You know what, Haley? I am about to book. I think I'm about to book Alaska on the Edge this upcoming week.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've even
That.
told you. I've even told you this, Haley. I think I'm about to book May 2024 Edge Hawaii repositioning to Vancouver.
Are you saying that to try to like seduce me over here?
I have some really good group rates
It's
on it.
that we needed a repeat.
I did. So I think I might be handing out at the next cruise. Well, guys, we are a minute late. You got a little peek of what Haley and I do all day, every day. Well, guys, good morning.
Mean everybody.
I am Jason Poole. I'm a travel advisor with Cruise Planners. Love talking about all things cruise, but not just cruises, credit card hacks, hotel loyalty status programs, all inclusive resorts, an airline topic here or there.
Changing travel conditions based on country, location,
Right.
etc.
So everything, everything, everything. Haley, by the way, happy Pi Day.
Yes, it is Pi Day. That kind of, I'm just
Happy
like, ooh.
Happy Pi Day, a day before the Ides of March. Well, guys, Haley, introduce yourself if anybody is here for the first time and doesn't know you.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Haley. I own a hotel sales support company, and I've been travel blogging for a few years. And just this is what I do with Jason all the time. And good morning, Emmy, Josh, and Lorette. They're all talking about Emmy's first retreat suite on Summit, which we know is a favorite for you. And
Summit, Summit, Summit. I love it. I love Summit, Summit, Summit. So, and on my feed, Mark Pizzo and Rob Watley are watching. So, good morning to you guys as well. All right. Well, let's dig right in. This is some great news. Guys, you know, Haley and I have been discussing China and Asia in general for some time. You know, China, as you guys know, if you follow the news, had a pretty strict COVID zero policy. We were all surprised by some of the protests in China, some of the pushbacks against that, and it worked, right? So China's kind of easing up some of the restrictions. They are now fully reopening its borders to foreigners. Remember, most countries have to have a visa still, so you can't just book a flight. You still got to get a visa. But that is just great, great news. If you had a visa from 2020, it's still valid if it hasn't expired. Some of the visas last a long time for China. So I I was talking to people yesterday about getting over to Asia. I'm just celebrity millenniums doing Japan year round. Like, I just really want to get over there very, very soon. I know you do. I know. So, where in Asia is like really on your bucket list?
uh here's the thing is it's so sectional for me. Like I really, I really want to land trip mainland China. I want to do the Great Wall thing. Um, Vietnam's on there. I would probably also say Thailand and Bali as well. But I would love to do like a Paul Gauguin, French Polynesia.
Oh,
Um, I would probably want to do Japan by land as well, unless there was a really good itinerary that hit a few different spots that I'm really interested in.
so I kind of want to do Japan by cruise to kind of hit a bunch of places, but I want to go just stay in Hong Kong. I've heard Hong Kong is crazy, like crazy. So I really, really, really want to go to Hong Kong. Like,
I
I
think
just
the hardest thing is because of the flight times. So based on my life right now with a child, and even though she goes to her dad's for like a break, I'm like, man, that's hard to squeeze Asia into that like week.
oh yeah, yeah.
Really,
I mean, it takes
really
so
need more
long.
time.
It takes so long to get there. So, all right. So, bringing it back home a little bit in our hemisphere, we've been hearing about this beach club at Nassau for years with Royal Caribbean. They finally received approval from the from the Bahamian government to move forward with the 17-acre beach club at the western end of Paradise Island in Nassau. If you've been to Paradise Island,
Which is right where you pull up. Like, I think about how you always kind of like look over there when you're parked.
and there's like nothing really there.
No, there's like a couple little houses or
Right. So, it's not a private island like Coco Cay. It's going to offer guests a beach day, access to the pools. So, on one hand, I think this is brilliant. Okay. On one hand, so it's not going to be a private island. It reads as if it's going to allow like people staying in Nassau, people on other cruise lines access to go. It's a joint partnership. The local government's going to own 49%. Royal Caribbean's going to own 51. But Royal Caribbean is going to be collecting revenue from people sailing on different cruise lines. I mean, I got to give them credit. It's deviously brilliant.
It's
Okay,
a sway. It's a marketing thing too.
I thought about it. It's a marketing thing too. Like, wow, look, we're here with Oasis of the Seas, or we're here with Freedom, or the nice ships. Basically, most of the 7-night itineraries, almost all of them have a stop at either Perfect Day, and a lot of them stop in Nassau as well. It's all the 3-night and 4 nights do.
Oh, 100%.
And I just think that is going to just help Royal Caribbean start to differentiate itself from some of its competitors. And I do kind of hate it for some of the local businesses. I mean, think about
That's why the Bahamian government put in so much of a stake. Like, if you're going to do this, like,
right.
we're getting a big chunk. And I'm sure that there were a lot of concessions that needed to be made.
Sure.
Because there is that constant, oh, yeah, we get all these cruise passengers, but they're going off on cruise ship excursions.
Right.
Spending as much money locally. I mean, some of that comes back to the way that Nassau was originally set up. And, they're doing a better job with improving the port area and whatnot. But, cruise passengers are, they have cruise excursions just shoved down their throat like, oh, it's the safety thing. And it's a very big thing to drive home. And that original area near the sea, Strawmark and stuff can be a little seedy to first-time travelers.
No, it absolutely can. And look, I mean, Nassau just had a record for the most ships or most passengers ever there a couple weeks ago. So this beach club can only hold, I mean, I saw a picture the other day of 2 Oasis class ships, plus the Beyond, plus the Silhouette, plus the Norwegian something, a Carnival ship. I mean, it was insane. So this beach club can only hold so many people, but I think it is going to be a cool addition and just brilliant to get revenue from non-royal passengers. Brilliant.
Yeah, and the location's great.
Right. So, all right. Well, moving on. So the Department of Justice, as you know, has already fought a lawsuit to stop the American Airlines JetBlue Northeastern Alliance. Okay. Department of Justice is concerned about some antitrust violations. Like, you could book a JetBlue flight on the American website and vice versa. They're worried that's going to raise the prices. Well, JetBlue and Spirit, as we have discussed here many times, are trying to merge. And the Department of Justice last week is suing to block the merger. Not a lot of commentary. I just reporting it. I mean, Haley, do you have any commentary on the lawsuit?
I don't. I think it mainly comes down to price for the consumer.
Right. I mean, look, companies don't merge to lower prices.
Exactly.
They do not merge. Now, could you make an argument? Yes, would it be nice to have a JetBlue Spirit merger to have like another national presence, like to compete against the legacy carrier? Sure, but they're not merging to lower prices. That's just the way it is.
No, absolutely not. And I think especially with Frontier hitting some of its blunders, like we just got the notification here that Frontier is pulling out of my local airport in May. That's really going to gap out that lower economy sector even more.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, guys, speaking of staying in the Bahamas or back to the Bahamas, Disney Cruise Line has announced they're going to be opening Lighthouse Point, going to be a private destination in the Bahamas. It's going to be their second destination in the Bahamas in 2024. It looks pretty cool from the renderings. Lots of stuff for the kids, lots of water slides. I just cannot wait to book a Disney cruise and spend the day at Lighthouse Point.
I know you can't.
I cannot wait.
I'm so excited to get to this point. But no, I mean, I gotta say, the thing with Disney too, what's kind of nice is like, sometimes you see the royal itineraries that have both Labadee and Coco Cay in it.
Right.
For a family like that, additional peace of mind, because Disney and everything being included there,
I agree.
type of that fee that you're paying. I mean, it's a smart move.
And again, those itineraries that include like a Labadee and a Coco Cay, you can only book cruise line excursions.
Yeah.
So Disney has itineraries that include both of their private destination in the Bahamas. All of a sudden, all those excursions are staying in house. And I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, it really is brilliant. It looks beautiful. And that is a very safe way to take your family off the ship if you have small children.
And I almost kind of wonder now if this gives them the opportunity down the road when they need to renovate Castaway, they still have the other place as well. They can kind of play off of that.
Oh, sure. That's a good point. That's a good point. All right, guys, this could be, I know some people might be upset at first, but when you've seen it in action, it is worth it. Okay, so starting in 2024, 28 European countries, including really popular destinations such as France, Greece, and Spain, are expected to adopt the EU's new entry-exit system, so called EES. So instead of going up to a customs agent, showing them a passport, getting a stamp and going through, it's going to be more like what I have seen in London.
It rained on my parade for London. I was so excited to get my EU stamp.
London, and I think Rome was that way in the fall, if I remember correctly.
I got a stamp in November.
You know what? That's right. It had the entry system, but then there was still a person scanning the passport. So in London, it is all automated. Okay. So you just walk up to this kiosk, like the doors open, you scan your passport, it scans your face, it takes a second, doors open, you have cleared customs, there's no more passport control, you are done, you are in the country. So no stamp. I mean, I do think the stamps are a little antiquated in this like digital age. I mean, we love them.
I love mine though.
We love them. But you know what's funny is when I was in London and Heathrow waiting for the bags, they had a little kiosk where, and if you really want one, you can go pay some pounds and get a stamp.
Wait, some pounds? Oh no, not that.
Right. So you can't. So I think this is going to be great. I mean, look, I remember my first time going to, I think it might have been my first time to Rome, maybe. The line, you know, for passport control,
It can be so crazy.
So long. But if it's just like scan the passport, scan the face, kiosk opens. I mean, when I was in London, I mean, it's fast. Like it's fast. And actually, when I just got to Cozumel a couple weeks ago, they had the kiosk for Americans and Canadians. They had the kiosk.
Oh, you know, we forgot to include that Cosmo article that Delta's starting to fly back there. So you guys know
that is true.
I'll be on long weekends. Yeah, I love
Yes.
my stamp, but I definitely don't miss the lines. And I mean, one thing that's to note as well is if you are traveling with somebody that is accessible, I've always found that those lines shrink. Like when we went to Italy for the first time with Jeff's grandmother, she was in a chair. They brought us right to the front of the line. So if you see those lines and you're with somebody that's accessible, just know there's usually somebody there that's going to bring you to the front anyways, because they are
Nice.
very adamant in Europe about people in wheelchairs not waiting in those kind of lines.
Right.
And also remember with the EU, I believe it's starting this November, we now have to fill out some visa-esque forms. So more to come on that.
More to come. You know, and I will say, you know, I can only really speak to Delta from personal experience, but I think the other airlines do a great job at it as well. Of the emails to remind you what's going to be required for each destination. Which it's like, you know, the Delta has that fly ready, which is really nice. You know, you can like, you know, if you have requirements, they'll let you know. So, and I think all the airlines, the major ones, have like that fly ready, you know, their version of it. So, I mean, they do a really good job of it. So that is it for the news. Now, this is something that I discuss at length
And
with
you and
Haley.
I disagree on a little bit.
Yeah, I discuss it at length with clients. Clients often misunderstand my position on the age of a hotel or age of a cruise ship. Okay. Like I had a client recently say, "Oh, I know you only do the new ships." And I said, "That is actually not true." So, Haley, I'll save my for later. What do you think? Does the age of a hotel or a cruise ship, does it matter to you?
Overall, no, to be honest. For me, it's a bit more of itinerary and location.
Okay.
And part of this is my bias in industry as well. I can take dated if it's clean because I know how much a PIP costs. And I mean, certain hotels to a degree, like, the Hampton brand is a really great example. Even though it's a limited service franchise fee, they're kind of the leader in that pack, out of that Fairfield and Comfort Suites. Like they lead the way. They always have the newest of the new ideas. So it can be expensive changing that kind of stuff over very frequently. So I can understand something being a dated and maybe needing a longer PIP. But if the service is great, it's clean, it's not that big of a deal for me. I mean, I do tend to lean to stay more towards premium products. So you see a little, I think, less of that typically speaking. Um, but it's not uncommon. But I mean, if it's clean or whatnot, and this will tie into our tip of the day and a little bit as well. But yes, I give you a lot of crap because I think you're snooty snood with all your new products.
Okay. So, does the age of a hotel or cruise ship matter to me? Yes, it does. It does. Okay.
Okay.
But I am completely fine with older properties like the Hyatt Regency, the Churchill in London, or older cruise ships such as the Celebrity Summit, if they have been renovated and modernized. And you can tell the Churchill is a little, I mean, not like it's an old property, but you can kind of tell, some of the stuff is a little more dated. It's not like the brand new Thompson in Seattle where I stayed, right? I mean, it's not the brand new Hyatt Regency that opened down the road in London, right? But they have done a very good job of keeping it modern. Not too modern, but it's more regal. It's London. That's kind of the vibe they're going for, right? Regal is the word I would use. But you look at the Celebrity Summit. I mean, that ship just was featured in the Forbes travel guide. Like, so was the Millennium,
Well,
which wasn't featured.
it had its PIP though.
Right, right, right. So I've told people like I'm fine with older properties, older cruise ships if they've been updated. I mean, I remember going on a cruise ship with you and your work for a couple years ago, and it was not in very good condition. It was very old, very dated, very run down. And we heard from a lot of people, if this is what cruising is like, I don't want any part of it. We did.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree that I don't want old, dated. Like, I remember I made a joke in there. It looked like we were filming a documentary on the Clinton impeachment trial based on the decor of the ship. Remember? Like, it just looks so old.
Like,
The
but,
green.
but I think to a degree too, like, that other life that I kind of talked about, to get a 4-night sailing and be able to get St. Martin and St. Lucia, that's kind of impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, but it was a weird scheduling
It was
anomaly
not
to
a normal.
no, no.
a normal
It was
thing.
just to get it back on
Like,
track
I love
before the
being able to do that in a short span. I didn't love
yes, right.
the tip, but you know.
No, I mean not at all. So yeah, so the answer, the age of the hotel, it does matter to me, but not if they keep it updated.
And guys,
I
feel
mean,
free to chime in on this too, please.
yeah,
No, but
you,
I think it's
you
to a degree. Now, am I gonna like saying something with shag carpet? Probably not, even if it has great reviews. There's certain amenities that I do like, and you know, part of this is my bias, and I can be understanding and knowing how long some of that takes because I have a lot of hotels that are in my portfolio that are renovating right now or attempting to, and there's still supply chain issues. So that's where I'm a little bit more of a bleeding heart on this topic.
I mean, look, I mean, you work with properties. You're a little, yeah. I mean,
I'm very biased. I'm very, not even just a little, I'm very biased.
you are very biased. So I mean, look, I mean, when I mean, properties get updated and cruise ships get updated for a reason. The guests like it,
Oh, yeah,
right? Like,
100%. I mean, you know, and there's wear and tear.
right, right.
There's 100%
So I mean,
wear and tear, and, you know, and unfortunately, some people are not as considerate when
right.
they're staying in places like this. Like I think you saw it on my Instagram story. I put up these pictures from in a couple of hospitality groups of these people that decorated a room with fake rose petals all over the floor, balloons and whatnot. Room was kind of in disarray and just left that for housekeeping.
Mm,
And it's just, you know, and I made the joke like people will ask like, how are rooms not ready? Well, when you have fools
right.
doing that, they're not going to be running on time because housekeeping is doing more than it's supposed to. But you know, it's wear and tear, and it all depends on the hotel side who owns it too. Like when I
That
at my first Hampton, my this is the only up until that point maintenance engineer guy that I'd see at that point. He was required to PM check every single room top to bottom, take it out of order once a quarter to look for like furniture scuffs, stuff like that, and you know, do those things every single quarter. You had to PM every single room every single quarter.
right. No, I get it. You know, and someone, I think it was Josh in the comments brought up a good point, and I hear this a lot for as far as in the cruising side. People often will say, in the Caribbean, the ship matters more to me because we're on it more. In Europe, it matters less because we're off it more. And I do hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot. And you know, I'm actually gonna push back on that a little bit. Okay,
Ooh,
I
spicy.
I mean, I cannot imagine spending a beautiful day in Dubrovnik, a beautiful day in Mykonos, a beautiful day in Barcelona, to get back on a ship that is crappy, run down, like orange carpet. Because you do spend more time on the ship than I think you realize, right? You have dinners on the ship, you have cocktails on the ship, you go to shows on the ship, you wake up the next morning and often have coffee on the ship or breakfast on the ship, right? So you spend a more time, even on a European port extensive itinerary, than you realize. I mean, look, there's a reason that certain cruise lines score very well in the Med year after year after year. And I would contend it's largely because of the hardware.
That's true.
Like,
And I go back and forth with it because, like, you know, for a while, for the longest time, and for a lot of people, that Greek Isle cruise is a honeymoon anniversary. That is a bucket list
mhm,
trip for a lot of people. And it
mhm.
was for me for a long time, and I still haven't done it. Um, but it kind of comes down to where I'm like,
I'm going twice. I'm going twice this year. I'm thinking this is gonna be time 4 and 5. You still haven't been.
I still haven't done. I tell you,
Hey, it's your version of my Paris, right?
that
How have
is
I not been to Paris?
that is because I'm going to be back in
Yeah,
Paris this year.
you're right.
But you know, for me though, I'm just like, man, I could go to Europe twice for some of the prices. And like,
Mhm.
like I kind of weigh that out. I'm like, man, yes, I would love that magic carpet sunset in Santorini.
Ugh,
But at the same time, I'm like, man,
it's beautiful.
I could go to Europe twice for that. And I kind of weigh that back and forth. Like I would rather be in Europe twice versus just the
I
one
get it.
time. And I think that's
Yeah, no,
like
I get that. The Greek Isles cruises are more expensive because they can charge more for island hopping, but it can get kind of expensive jumping from, jumping between the islands, right?
yeah,
So it is nice to be able just to go to sleep, wake up, and you're in a new Greek Isle like that. I mean, that is very
it's
nice. And
definitely
so they,
a deal. And I mean, and I've gone back and forth. I'm like, man, is that even going to be enough time for me in there? Because I had a Greek trip planned at one point in time where it
Mhm.
was just like a couple days in Athens, and I was going to go to Paros, home base there, and like ferry hop because I'm like, man, I just like I don't want to miss any of it. I love being in the water. I love doing this. Like, so I go back and forth with it. It's hard. It's hard.
I get it. I get it. All right. Well,
Yeah.
good debate. Now, I'm going to let you take the lead on this. What is the travel tip of the day?
So, travel tip of the day. Excuse me, still getting over this plague. Is to not rely on just brand.com reviews because I find that brand.com is probably the most cynical of views, typically
Okay.
speaking. You are very more than often able to find off a really angry, high tier loyalist that was mad they didn't get their bottle of water and something at check in and goes on a tirade because a lot of the times I'll see, a hotel on like Marriott.com that's at a 3.7. Now, normally speaking, I would never stay at a 3.7. But then you go off to like TripAdvisor and Google and it's a 4.4.
Right.
So I recommend, I personally really, I go between brand.com, Google, and TripAdvisor. Those are my three. I kind of waver between.
So I love this tip. I'm thinking about like, I just was at a Hyatt place in Boca. I thought it was actually really good. I was just at the Thompson other Hyatt property in Playa. Thought it was really good. I did not leave a rating anywhere.
No,
And
and it's
now,
so
now you're thinking I should. And I'll be honest, I don't even know where to do that on the Hyatt app or Hyatt.com. Maybe that could be a tip of the day one day. I don't even know where to do it, honestly.
so those types of reviews are going to come from the surveys that are sent after checkout.
Oh, well, then I guess I do, but I do fill those out.
But
Okay, then I guess I do.
speaking, people do not fill out reviews unless they're really, really pissed.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's the statistician in me. I fill them out.
Yeah. No, I mean it is very hard. I mean, it's something that we work with clients all the time. You're like, like, okay, your reviews are struggling. You need to make sure we're really targeting people at checkout that had a really great time and trying to like push them to remember to do that. Um, so I just say you can't rely on just like one source for that. And the brand.com I think is the worst one source you can go with. Um,
Okay.
and really, if you're between hotels, take the time to read them because even just looking at that number and being like, oh, 3.7, I kind of will read the first page or two, maybe three, because sometimes people's complaints are extremely trivial and not really about the hotel itself.
Right. 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 No, I agree. I think that is great review. Well, Haley, that is it for
We're
travel.
going to cover
We
our
have
bases for a
something.
second.
We
Woo!
have something kind of fun. All right, guys, we are doing a Today in Travel March Madness Bracket Challenge. It is free to enter. Free. People always ask how much. It is free to enter. The winner is going to get $100 travel gift card or OBC, your choice, whatever you want. You must register through the group link by tomorrow before the first game.
Through tomorrow night is your last bet.
Right. Okay, perfect. So this is just going to be a fun way for us to just make a bracket, see how we're doing. Texas A&M to the Final Four. Book it now. They're going. Texas A&M Final Four. You've heard it. You've heard it here, folks. Okay.
Heard it not. I'm gonna drag him so bad when they get kicked. I think that I have them out after Sweet 16.
I think I'm gonna have them beating Michigan State, but losing to Texas.
That was a very muffled little Texas. If you guys want to know where the link to join this challenge is, make sure you join the group right here.
Sandtravel.live. So yeah, so join it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Like I said, it's free. And if you don't even know anything, just go click and you can win $100. It's free. It's totally free. It's
sorry, I'm too gay for that.
It's free. Hey, if you want $100 free, just click. Take all the high seeds and
you guys, this bracket's so easy. You just click. You don't even have to type anything out. You just click teams till you late.
It's fun. It's fun to like, oh, my bracket's busted. So all right, guys. Well, that is it. Next week I will be somewhere in the Caribbean. I should still be able to do the show. So it's gonna be hopefully
what time to Detroit next week, but it's evening flight tomorrow or next week.
So I will be hopefully somewhere warm. It's in the mid-30s in Tennessee, and that is really cold for this southern boy. So
out here you can have it if you want.
No, it was flirting this morning. I was like, it's mid-March. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining. I hope you had fun. Hope you learned some things, some tips, some tricks, and join our bracket. And I'm about to fill mine out very soon. So, guys, until next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.